Good morning, everyone. My name is Gabe Phillips, and I hope you're all having an excellent day. Now, I got a question for you. Do you ever look in the mirror or at pictures and immediately notice those small or maybe large imperfections that only you might be worried about? Well, if you said yes, it's safe to say you aren't alone. However, I do have a not so easy fix for this. This is important because no one wants to spend the rest of their life being hypercritical or overanalytical of their appearance. From my personal experience, I too have been overfixated on the looks of my body, and that led to me becoming ashamed of how I looked. Now, pride is a strong force, and it can both benefit and hurt us. When negatively influenced by the critiques of others around us, it can make us ashamed of how we look. Today I will tell you about two instances in which too much pride resulted in shame. First, I will discuss Aesop's fable, The Bald Knight. Then, I will share a story of my own. To start off, I'll focus on Aesop's fable. Now, the story of the Bald Knight is a not commonly known one, so let me start with telling you how the story unfolds. As retold by the website Aesop's Fable, retrieved on January 19th, Aesop explains a story in which a bald knight who went out to hunt with his comrades got interrupted by a sudden gust of wind. This wind knocks his wig off, and his partner's immediate reaction is to start laughing. Now, the only thing he can do in response to this is make a joke about himself to try and hide the fact that he was wearing a wig. It is fairly easy to picture in your head what is going on here, and the amount of shame the knight must have felt at his companions laughing at something they probably wouldn't have cared less about had they known what he truly looked like. Aesop's use of the slightly comedic yet harshly realistic example allows you to connect with his message. The bald knight shows us that pride can easily turn bad when your amount of it is affected by how others perceive you, causing you not to be able to show and express your true self properly. Now that you've had a look at this short tale, let's look at a more realistic example. From about the end of 6th grade through 10th grade, I had a feature which I always tried to hide, and that was how skinny I was. But as I had mentioned, I'd struggled for this for a long time. And this was due to the fact that the little comments here and there, the "you're so skinny I could fit my pinky and thumb around your wrist," or "dang Gabe, you're so skinny you could snap," those comments really built up over time. And it didn't help that I was super late to hit puberty. I was always the smallest in my class until about sophomore year in the summer. All this time I spent worrying about how skinny I was taught me one very important life lesson. That was, you just have to be comfortable in your own skin. I've learned that when you're more confident in who you are, people are less likely to harass you about it. Instead of taking insult to someone's words, just give it a light chuckle and move on with your day. I was still so caught up on it from about 9th to 10th grade when there wasn't as many comments about it, mainly just because it was all in my head. I couldn't get over the fact about how I looked. Now, my story might not be as crazy as the Bald Knight's, but I do feel that they both show very similar valuable lessons. As explained through both examples, pride will always be there. You just need to make sure it comes from being comfortable in who you are and not from people's critiques. At the end of the day, all that matters is that you're comfortable in your own skin, because other people's opinions about your appearance simply don't matter. Thank you. Are there any questions?